I just sent you on Discord a little screenshot of your Lillia runes.
Yep, I remember my Lillia runes.
They're on my screen right now. Okay, I'm just gonna dive into it. I may question some of your choices. I'm just gonna say it, but
that's allowed.
I will give you a chance to explain yourself and your thought process. So, for like the keystone, it's a little bit different what is preferred on Lillia, or Bambi as I like to call her. Some people like going Predator, some like Dark Harvest. Personally, I prefer Conqueror, which is what you're going. I think Conqueror is really powerful. Not only right now, it's been for a long time. It just gives you so much. When you get to stack it up, you're powerful in team fights. The tenacity is really valuable. But I don't know if I've ever seen a Lillia with presence of mind before. Because...
Why not, though? You get so much mana regen. You like Q spam everywhere. It's great.
But you're not playing a support right now. When you walk in the river, you're gonna get passive mana all the time. Because you're a jungler. Like, junglers just enter the jungle or river and you get so much mana. And Lillia is not like that mana hungry. Like, you cannot spam your abilities that much. You're not like a Karthus, you know?
I guess that is true. So what would you run? Triumph?
Triumph, for sure.
Okay.
My, like, for the primary tree, Conqueror, Triumph, Tenacity, and then Last Stand or Coop. Which of the two, I don't think matters that much. I would probably go Coop personally, but like either way, it's just mostly that Triumph can actually be a really big deal in fights, especially because with Conqueror, once you get the stacks rolling and once you're like in the fight, you can actually heal a lot and you can reach in a lot, and Triumph helps with that.
I really like Conqueror just because the ability to like be in team fights and just Q, heal a bit, run back in, Q again, hit an E, Q, you know, just you've got so much mobility that keeping it stacked isn't actually that hard a lot of the time because you can just be in and out. So I really like Conqueror for that.
Yeah, makes sense. And for similar reason, we should run Triumph because we're not really gonna have mana problems on Lillia anyways, and if we do, it's because we're doing something wrong. So if you have mana problems this game, then you know, we'll get into it.
If we run out of mana chat in fights in the future, just spam Broxah was wrong, okay? Just anyone out there.
Yeah, so then you have Futures Markets.
I love Futures Market, man. It's so good. Because on first base, I can get Lost Chapter.
If I could question mark ping you right now, I would.
You can get Lost Chapter first base! It's so strong! What are you saying?
Imagine,
it's so nice!
Imagine playing a champion like Lillia that gets so much value from Cosmic Insight, from having her flash up sooner. But then you don't go for it just because you want a little bit more gold in your first base. Is that what you're telling me?
I mean, I want a little bit more gold on all of my bases, is what I'm telling you. But I do understand your logic that Cosmic Insight and the Flash cooldown might be better.
What you're basically telling me, from my point of view, is that you like to enter depth for no reason when you don't have to get your Lost Chapter on first base anyways. Like, it's fine if you don't. Even with Futures Market, there's cases where you're not gonna have gold enough for it.
I mean, true, because but also you don't have to have your flash off cooldown sooner.
And
in fact, there's cases where it wouldn't even matter if you had your flash off cooldown quicker, man. So, you know, like, yeah, it's a little, yeah, it's 50% of one, 50% of the other, you know? Yeah, it's...
Futures Market, okay. Lillia. It has never been seen before. It shouldn't be seen again, ideally. That is all there is to it.
Yeah, I'm switching the page already to Cosmic Insight. Okay, I've saved
very nice. There are alternatives. Because you can also go Resolve or Sorcery secondary. But, like, all three options are fine. It just depends. But I think Inspiration, Magical Footwear, Cosmic Insight is fine. Personally, I usually prefer going Celerity Water Walking. I feel like that is pretty powerful, but I think it's a preference thing more than anything. And then...
I can see that, actually. I hadn't even thought of Celerity Water Walking. I can see that being really nice.
Yeah, I mean, they're just good for different reasons, right? Like, again, it's a bit similar to with Graves, where there's cases where you can get away with going Magical Footwear, Cosmic Insight, because you're not going to need the extra ability early, and then you know, it's like a bit of an investment you make that's gonna be really nice later. But with Celerity Water Walking, you can get early boots and you have extra mobility and like, you know, all the fights that can make a big difference, because we do stack up a lot of move speed with Lillia too. But yeah, which of the three you go for is not the biggest of deals. I do see that you go.
I don't go for futures market. That's the one thing I'm not.
Exactly. No presence of mind, no futures market. Then Coach Broxah is very, very happy. Outside of that, he's also going to be very happy if you don't go ability haste.
What would you go then? Attack speed or more adaptive force, I guess?
You're gonna see most Lillia players go attack speed or adaptive force. I think attack speed is slightly more popular, has a little bit higher win rate as well. I often go double adaptive force actually, just because I think it's nice, like having the extra damage, the extra burst in fights. But it really depends. Attack speed and adaptive force are both good for different reasons, and the value you gain from them is more than you gain from the ability haste.
I guess your Q's on such a small cooldown anyway that you don't really need the extra haste.
You're gonna get like a ton of ability haste, so in the big picture this is not gonna mean much. And why some people prefer attack speed, like it's something that's being preferred on a lot of junglers, even ones where it seems kind of strange. Like you see Lillia and you're like, why do I need attack speed? Like I'm never attacking anyone anyways, but you're attacking your jungle camps quite a lot, so it can actually help a bit in that regard. But yeah, for the runes, I think that's mostly it. We've covered it. Let's look at the lane matchups. What are you thinking? What is your goal in the game playing Lillia? What do you want to do?
So my main issue here is I don't really see anywhere I can gank easily, right? Because I'm worried about Kindred trying to fight me early on, because I think she wins early game. I think she out skirmishes me in the pure 1v1, especially with press the attack. I don't see mid as an easy gank unless he's already used his E to go forwards. Bot lane is a hard gank because I just get knocked away by the Alistar, and Singed is Singed, right? I don't really want to chase Singed around. So I think my priority here probably would have been, I'm just going to clear, and then if I see opportunities, I'm going to go for them. But most of the time, I'm just going to be clearing and then looking to find picks as the game starts to open up a little bit more. I know coming into this game, I was quite worried about Kindred, because I struggle on Lillia to win early, especially. And when I get towards like team fights and when I have like Rylai's plus Leandries, I feel much more powerful. But early game, I really feel quite weak. And I don't know if that's correct. It's just how the champ feels to me, how it feels when I'm playing it.
Well, you mentioned not being able to gank being a worry. Like, we didn't pick Lillia to gank. If we wanted to gank, we would have locked in a different champion. In my mind, Lillia is a farming machine. You farm very efficiently. She's a strong team fighter. It's a bit like Graves. Like, they're a bit similar in that sense, where their strength is their clear speed, their scaling, and then they can be really strong in jungle fights, but it's a little bit situational depending on like state of the game, jungle matchup and whatnot. So on Lillia, rather than focusing on ganking people, what you're often going to see a Lillia do in competitive play, this is actually something I learned at Worlds in 2020, where Lillia had just come out a bit before and we started scrimming the Korean teams. What they would do was that they would just I don't recommend you doing this because it's kind of wild, but just to explain like how you can get a lead on Lillia, like what they would do, they would start wolves and then they would just like sprint into my jungle and invade my raptors, or they would start like raptors and they just walk in, because Lillia is not the greatest as a single target camp clear, but she's really powerful in fights.
AoE is really strong.
If she can get AoE off on camp, so if she fights like on a raptor camp and you have your Q activated on the raptor camp while you're fighting, you get so much healing and you're really strong. So okay. What I usually look out for with Lillia is not necessarily that invade, but it is opportunities to invade the raptors, because raptors is one of the easiest camps to clear with Lillia, and once you have your stacks on it, you can just run out so fast. Like, it's really hard to catch you. So, like you said, Kindred is pretty powerful, so we don't necessarily want to fight her head on, but if we're mindful about it, we can look to steal her camps when she's not looking for it.
Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, we're gonna be looking out for the jungle efficiency. Again, similar to last game, if you want to start Sweeper, you should be sitting up here right now. At 50 seconds, you base, you place a ward for your mid laner, so your mid laner doesn't die to a random Kindred red into mid gank, and then everything is great. So on Lillia, for like clear, you have two options. Well, there's more options obviously, but the best two options are either starting red with Leash or soloing Raptors. I think both are fine for different reasons. In cases where your bot lane is happy to Leash, I think starting red is usually fine, but we shouldn't be moving to Raptors first.
The reasoning here is, I see Singed proxying, and I think, if I do red into Razorbeaks into topside, I can, one, make sure the Singed doesn't steal away my blue, right? And two, maybe I catch him thinking, oh, enemy jungle started bot side, I can be more, like, he can stay around for longer. So my plan was, maybe I get a kill on the Singed by skipping my Krugs and getting there earlier.
There is a chance that you can kill Singed if you go topside, but your chance is gonna be just as high if you do Krugs first as it is if you skip them and then move top. Because once again, it comes down to the fact that you're playing a farming jungler and you want to put your camps on cooldown and cycle them as much as possible, because Kindred then will not be able to keep up with you. And now, if we go with like the full vision, we see again Kindred could be starting in either side. In this case, she started bot side, so she's just gonna match you. But now, because you didn't do your Crocs, you're gonna be one cap down. So here, I think you should always do same thing Lillia, same thing Graves, Diana, Kayn, like farming junglers. If you start red, do Crocs, do Raptors, and then you move topside. And then if Singed does something random, we can kill him, but we shouldn't tunnel on the crazy Singed players, because if he's already proxying now, he's gonna continue doing it for a while.
Yep, that makes sense. I do like the fact I have Sweeper, and I don't use it to sweep out the ward that's placed there. I literally started with Sweeper, and for some reason I just didn't use it. Wow. God tier player, man.
That's pretty interesting. I also just noticed you have Red Smite. I'm guessing the reason you have Red Smite is that you already mentioned you're worried about the 1v1 against Kindred, so I think it's fine to go for it. I usually more or less always go blue on a champion like Lillia personally, just because again, like, it's rare that you fight them head on. You're usually going to be kiting them, so having the slow from blue smite can be pretty beneficial and can help you, like, you know, just kiting Kindred rather than taking like a crazy all-in.
That makes sense.
But it's not the end of the world in this matchup. So you got first blood, great, perfect. Can't complain about that.
I mean, sure. I could have also just let him die. Like, if I'd been there later and he'd executed, does it matter at all, really? It's an extra kill, but I have to burn flash for it and everything, so...
Yeah. Well,
I also know that you can duo blue Gromp. I've learned that since playing this game, so I should be doing that here instead of...
Yeah, so here, usually when blue drops like 1.2, 1k, that is when we move over and we pull our Gromp.
Yeah.
Also, we're gonna have to be mindful about our smite, because we're gonna need smite if we want to have a chance of securing the top crab. Now, the only reason, or the only way that you could get away with doing blue like this would be if you told me it's because you want to make sure that you're on time for top crab, so you can deny it from Kindred for sure, but now you pull Grump in a bit anyways.
Yeah.
So in this case, just do them at the same time, save your smite, it's very important, because doing crap without smite is pretty miserable on champions that can't CC it. So yeah, you finish this. Wait, did you just
God tier gamer. God tier gamer!
Did you just get the crab?
Yeah, I did. Look at this, man. He smites it, right? Because doing crab without smite is really difficult. So...
There's so many things here that are wrong. Not only could Kindred have gotten it if he smited instantly before he started hitting the crab, but... Okay, let's just... Either way, next time you do blue and Grump together, you would actually have made it, like, you would have been much earlier here.
Yeah.
Anyways, and you could have had smite now, so you would be level 4 because you would have done... well, okay. I mean, in an ideal world, at this point, you would have full cleared, and you would be level 4. And you would have been here, level 4 to level 3, with Smite up. Now, that does require you to practice the clear a fair amount, so we're not necessarily going to expect that. But at least do blue and Grum together, so we're going to be a little bit earlier. As you said, you did secure it, you have your stacks activated. Singed is very angry and wants to run you down because you killed him. Unfortunately, he doesn't know the powers of Bambi and her big movement speed.
Wait, pause.
You want to show me how you got...
Yeah.
You want to show me how you got lost chapter because of... See, you have 1300
no, I already had
gold.
enough gold. No! I was hoping that I had it. You just marked it.
I know what you were going to say. No, you don't get away with that here. No. So
yeah, so at this point, I'm just back to farming. I think, like, I come back out of the map. I'm not really thinking, oh, that like a gank's gonna happen, whatever. I'm just like, oh, farm my camps.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Like, there's a world where, after you do Crocs, or even before, because I think the bot wave is building up. Like, it's a big bot wave that's gonna push into them. So there's a world where you're gonna want to move bot lane before doing Crocs, just to make sure they're safe from Kindred. Because this is a dangerous position, and if you've tracked Kindred, you should know that because he showed up on top crab, he have bot to top, meaning that now after his base, his Grump and Wolves are spawning, therefore that's where he's going to be. Also, there's a crab. Yeah. Are you thinking about like their pathing in the game?
So when I reset, I'll often think, like, especially if I've seen the enemy jungle, I think about where they're resetting, but I'm not at the level where if I haven't seen the jungler like within the last couple of minutes, I'll be able to say, oh, he should be here because at this point this should be respawning.
Did you expect him to be bot side?
I expected him to come bot side after the top side play, but that's because I knew he died top side and I knew he started bot side, right? So then right now you should know that there's a pretty good chance your bot lane is gonna get ganked, which means that you have two options. No matter what, you should ping, like, drop a ping on like crab or like grump or like just anywhere down here so bot lane realizes that there's danger, and then you can move to your bot lane and you can defend them, or you can at very least spam ping so they're where a gank is coming. But I think in this case, because the wave is so big and like it doesn't hurt just sitting like around the corner for like 5 seconds. If Kindred doesn't show up, bot lane gets to push out for free. If Kindred does, you get a free kill. Yeah, that makes sense.
So now, bot lane didn't respect enemy jungler. Kindred, on a mission, ran it down. So she dies. And now, you're here. And you actually got a freebie. You got a free kill. I would argue that Alistar should never have died there if he didn't die. This is where I would have told you how you shouldn't have wasted your time and how you could already have finished your wolves and be moving to their Raptors and Crocs. But you did get a kill, so you got away with it like a little bit.
And that's results-based analysis, right? Like, I either have to be there for the initial gank or I just shouldn't go afterwards.
Exactly. So now, because you were not there when Kindred ganked them, you should think, okay, I probably won't be able to do anything bot lane unless they like really overextend. So like at this point you could already be doing your Raptors, you do your Wolves, and then you take Raptors and Crocs, and then that is like a secure advantage on Kindred, because Kindred probably will be moving bot side from base because she didn't farm at all. Like her Grump and Wolves are still up, and
I can't know that though, right? Because if I know she pathed bot side after dying, she could have taken Wolves into Scuttlecrab into gank, right?
You can, but that's like, again, that's like higher level stuff, because CS, like then you have to like look at her CS, because you could know, like when she showed in top river, she had 20 CS, which you could have noticed, which says to you that she did every camp except Crocs. And when she just died, she had 24, which means she did bot crab, because she's always going to do bot crab before any of the others. So you could know. But again, it's not necessarily an expectation. Either way, even if she can be on Raptors, you're really strong right now. Your mid laner is really strong coming out of base. So you can
Futures
pressure.
Market gave me a lot of extra gold, so I was able to
Yeah.
get a strong position.
So you got a random kill bot, still nice. Now we can start pathing up, but now we're not going to be able to deny camps from them.
Yeah.
I think what is worth noting is that even in this case where you got the kill, that's some nice gold for you. But you could have gotten almost the same amount of gold from Raptors and Crocs while denying it from Kindred.
Yeah, 100%.
So right now we're sitting on 1k gold. We're gonna have to base soon enough. So we see Kindred top. Let's see how we react to that. Normally here we would want to play more aggressive and we would want to go for the blue and the grump, but you're bot lane based at a bit of an inconvenient timing for you, so you actually can't really get anything other than crap. But normally when the enemy jungler shows top and you're stronger than them, this is a good opportunity to invade, because if you are here, if their bot lane walks up, you gank them and kill them, and if they don't, you have bot push and you have mid push, and then both like your support and your mid are going to be first on the play, and you win this fight and get the camps.
That makes sense.
But because you're bot lane based, you made the right call. See, we're kind of wandering around here.
Yeah, it's the I don't know what I want to do portion of the game.
But how can you not know what you want to do? Like, do you look at all this? There's farm everywhere. It's so
True.
It's so simple. So because you start red and you path bot to top, that can naturally be like, it doesn't have to be your go-to, but it can be in games like these that are slow. So here, you are sitting on a lot of gold. It would be nice to spend the gold before the Herald fight. But if you do stay this much, like I think after you take this pink ward that you just cleared right now, you either insta-base or you clear Crocs and Raptors, you know your wolves and blue are coming up, your Grump is coming up, so you can just do a full clear if you do stay. But now we stopped.
I think I start to back and then see Echo fighting mid. I was like, oh, I can help Zed, so I get the Echo off the back of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that like I definitely started a recall and then saw this fight happening and was like, oh, I need to go and help my mid laner.
But this is somewhat random. Like there's a world where you don't even get Echo here and where Echo actually lives.
Yeah.
I feel like Echo could have, you know, or at the very least could have like just ran around like annoying you, and you would waste like a minute chasing Echo, but Echo just decided to like go for a suicide mission, right? So again, efficiency. And again, like even if you had done Crocs and Raptors, you would, like if you had done Crocs, you would be like on the way to Raptors, you probably wouldn't kill Echo, but then you could still play for the Herald and you could still like look at the bigger picture.
I get that.
So we've gotten a bit lucky this game, getting a lot of random kills. If we didn't get them, we would have been behind Kindred. And we don't have the CS lead that we should have secured.
Yeah.
Now, this base we do not approve. Because we do have a lot of gold, sure. But Kindred is ganking bot lane while there's a very nice and juicy Herald up that you told me just last game that you really like. So this is our Herald. We know that jungler is bot, this Herald is ours for sure. Singed is gonna catch this wave. Echo is still in base because we just killed him. No one is gonna stop us if we go and hit this Herald right now. Alternatively, we can even move into the top jungle. They do have awards, so it's a little more aggressive, but like it's just a free Herald, we should just take it.
Then I wouldn't get the kill. Wait, why did I skip Razor Beaks? What?
That's a great question, Medic.
Oh no. Okay, I know why I skipped them. It's because I saw Wolves had the Kindred mark, and I didn't know where Kindred was. So I was like, oh, she could try and get in here quickly and steal it. So I'm gonna make sure it's gone, and then I can come back round and do Razor Beaks. I'm not saying it's perfect decision making.
You just saw Kindred die bot lane.
Yeah, but she could have run, because I went bot lane as well for the fight, right? So she could have respawned and run straight to the wolves.
What do you think she is, like a superhero?
Okay, look, I'm not
she doesn't have teleport.
Making,
No, I know you. I get it. I'm just saying that we need to. It's like we need to try to be logical. Like we are making like rushed decisions off of like just random thoughts popping up. Like if this mark hadn't spawned, you would just have pathed naturally and nothing random would have happened. Like, even if they have a Kindred and Mark spawns, don't let that like completely change your game plan, because while we do want to avoid her getting marks, and we want to prevent it, like, she's gonna get a mark here and there, but like, even if you find her on your walls while you're on your way there, she's dead. She's gonna die for it. But yeah, she couldn't make it in this case. So, we get our Raptors now, we get bot crap, we see bot lane is overextended. I mean, again, it works out, but let me just see, because I'm just trying to think if I approve the sleep. I don't.
Yeah, because Alistair has ult, yeah.
Well,
if he just ulted,
he forgot that his ult is up, which was pretty lucky. Like, it's a pretty important part of Alistar, but I guess we all make mistakes. But like, he didn't do anything to you. Like, did he use a single spell? I don't think so. I mean, we don't want to.
You as I jump in. But... No, he didn't.
This guy just forgot that he has buttons, and he just let you kill him. But normally here, you wanna save your ult, right? Because even like just a one-man ult isn't always ideal. So, especially with Alistar, but even if it's like Lona or Nautilus, just be mindful of when you ult, because it's a very long cooldown, 108 seconds, and in a case like this where, let's say, Sivir loses this fight to Veigar, Kindred comes in, you couldn't kill Alistar, all of a sudden, because you don't have ult, you're not going to be able to carry this fight even though you're really fit.
That makes sense.
So, you look for the camps, I think that's fine, but were you mindful of Kindred?
So I knew Kindred was in the area, but I thought I could look in and then Sivir would be able to react. I didn't realize, well, if I had sleep here, it would have been fine. But then I didn't really realize how strong Kindred was going to be in the 1v1 at this point. Because I was like, you
said you thought Sivir was going to react. Medic.
Yeah, okay.
How many times in the past year has your teammate reacted and actually wanted to help you in solo queue?
I mean, that's true. That is true.
You can probably count it on one hand.
I'm usually the one reacting. That's the thing. I'm usually the support being like, oh, I'm going to come join.
Solo queue players don't care about you, medic. Okay, that sounded harsh, but it's the truth. It's what we have to accept. Especially when you're a jungler. Like, these people, they hate you more than anything. Like, if there's one thing laners hate, it is junglers. And helping the jungler is their worst nightmare. So, this Sivir is never going to help you. Especially because she wants to push out the cannon wave. She likes farming. So, because you don't have ult, you don't have flash, because you're sitting on 1600 gold, and this Kindred beats you 1v1, which you mentioned earlier, and she has a red buff. This is not where we walk into the enemy jungle. This is where, after we're bot lane, we just base. Like, you can push the wave out with Sivir, you can base in this bush to make sure she's safe, but we should base either way. And then we get a nice coordinated reset with Sivir, where we can start pressuring and where we have time to play for the Herald, because we still haven't gotten Drake and Herald.
I understand the logic. Teammates hate me, that's what I'm learning here.
Welcome to the jungle world.
Yep.
I mean, you've been playing support up until now. Supports don't get that much love either, but...
True.
I mean, jungle is a different world. Your teammates are gonna tell you a lot of bad things. They're gonna act like you're not even a human being. But trust me, if you power through it, you're gonna have a very, very strong mental state. Or actually, the exact opposite, you're gonna be completely doomed and have a depression in a year from now, so enjoy the ride!
Thank you.
Anyways, normally, I'm a big fan of Lucidity Boots. I think the ability haste is great. But if we look at the enemy champions, Mercs are amazing. They have 3 sources of AP damage, they have a lot of CC, you already have tenacity from your rune, so you can have double tenacity and basically be a god. So,
I'm pretty sure later in this game, I say I should have gone Mercs.
Good. That's some good analysis. I would have gone Mercs and Giant Spelt here. Actually, wait, could you? No, you wouldn't be able to do that. Actually, I would have gone.
Maybe because I could have gone Mercs, and then
you
sold my
could-
refillable, and with futures market.
Yeah, wait, I was about to say you could have gotten it because of futures market. True, the value.
The value.
Yeah, so here I would have gotten Mercs and I would have gotten a Ruby Crystal because you already have enough damage. Like, you are so strong in this game, and even though you're solar AP, if you can just stay alive and like cycle your cooldowns and fights and just constantly Q them and harass them, then you're gonna deal so much. Whereas right now you're gonna be really, really squishy, so it's actually really scary to walk up and fight. That's one of the things that makes Conqueror Lillia so good, that you can go for like these more like tankier builds, and you can just like stay in the fight and sustain.
Farming.
I was just thinking if it was actually correct to even move bot there. You move bot because of the mark, I assume? Which makes
I moved bot
sense.
because, Krog's in the mark. I was like, I can get this.
I would say, if there's not a mark here,
Top side
I mean,
of the
it's
hell.
tricky. Your Sivir might be in trouble. I think either way, in this particular case, it's fine to go bot because your support died and the mark spawned. But let's say, in a different case, this is your only chance to do Herald, because otherwise you're not going to get Herald and place it before the plate's timeout. So I think here, even if the mark is not up, your AD carry needs your bot, so you can just defend your Crocs and your red. They're playing really aggressive, but just gotta be mindful about the Herald, because we had a chance to clear it and we didn't, and now we're still not really in the objective game. I'm not entirely sure what we're doing here. I'm gonna be honest. Because right
like,
now,
wandering, Lillia's at home in the forest, so I kind of like just being in the forest. It's quite nice.
but have you seen like our little friends over here? What about this forest up here? It's these are really lovely. Like, we should really go spend some time with them.
That makes sense.
Because like their camps are up, but like there's no world where you're gonna walk in here blind.
Yeah, I can't invade. Right?
So now we're gonna be efficient because we're playing a farming jungler, and this is how we get a lead on a, a more aggressive jungler with a worse clear like Kindred. We just do our jungle. We just full clear right now. At the end of the full clear, there's a chance we meet Singed. There's a chance we can do the Raptors and Crocs. Maybe we can look for Echo mid. Maybe we can do Herald. We can do whatever. But right now we're just in random missions.
Wait, why do I not like Razor Beaks?
We were very close to skipping those Raptors.
It's the second time I've just walked straight. What is up with me? I'm just like, oh, just walking.
We're just like, what have these guys done to you?
I'm allergic to chicken, man. I'm allergic to chicken. I have to dodge it.
It surely looks like it. Well, at least now we're working on clearing the camps. What is the mistake here?
Well, you said 1,200 HP, so we'll
yeah,
see.
on the first clear, medic. On the first clear.
In a second.
Now we just do blue and grump at the same time. We could have cleared. They could both be gone right now. Imagine, but no. Now we spent so much time. 10 valuable seconds. Well, it took a while. We could have cleared these camps like, ages ago.
Yeah.
I feel like I could be retired at this point, but we made it eventually. So
I could have started Herald here. And maybe I do. Maybe I just wanted to check this bush if there's a control ward in there. Maybe that's what I was doing here, man.
I'm very
giving myself
curious
the
too.
benefit of the doubt. We'll see. Oh, I need to check the top side bush. No control wards. Good. Okay, all checked. Now we know Kindred's going down towards the bottom side. I need these honey. I'm full. There, I started it. Okay.
Yeah. You did.
Problem was, I started
but
it.
now your best friend Singed can help you, because after you based, I've seen you waste 1 to 1.5 minutes just running confused around like a headless chicken. That's not ideal, medic. That's not how we win the game in the jungle. And now I'm gonna tell you one thing, because we're looking at it from this point of view, and it's not seeming that great. But the truth is that you are, well, you're actually 200 gold down with that jungler. But
Yeah, that's not...
that jungler is not doing any better. That jungler is also doing a lot of random crap. So if we can just, you know,
Get rid of
waste
the
a
random
little
crap.
bit less time and just
Yeah.
think logical instead of just getting random thoughts and following them, we're gonna be very, very ahead every single game. And just that alone, like just actually farming your camps efficiently and clearing them on cooldown, on farming junglers especially, I think if you do that, like no matter what elo you are, you can probably get to Diamond 4 just doing that efficiently, because you're gonna get so ahead every game. No, we're gonna get you to Master. Like, you have to be higher elo as a jungler than support now, that's the goal.
Oh, is that the goal? Okay.
Yeah, of course. You can
But look,
compete
actually,
with me
no,
and
look at
my...
this, right?
Yeah, so...
By delaying, I
What
get
on-
Singed to
But
overinvest
where are
into
we
it.
going?
I'm going back to base, as you can see.
This is a very, very lovely spot. Like, here exactly, this is the perfect recall location. Let's see, 1610. When did we finish Herald Medic? We didn't waste that much time on this one, but we did waste 15 very valuable seconds.
I don't know what I'm doing. Like, there's times when I look at my own gameplay and I say, how am I making these decisions? Like, what is going through my head here that I'm just like, oh, I'll run mid and get one extra wave, you know?
Like, if we just count the minutes you've wasted running around in these 2 games alone, like, holy moly, all the things I could do with that valuable time. Let's not waste time. Time is very important. And if we do want to do something, there's a red buff right here. There's a very juicy red buff, because we could have been aware with Kindred wasn't bot, she didn't have it, so we could have taken it. Anyways, let's move on. So, we base. We have a Rylai second item medic.
I really like Riley's second item. I really like it on Kindred. On Lillia.
Okay. I am not judging you, but...
I mean, you are judging me.
No, I would never judge my
there's
student.
some judgment happening here.
But
Some people like Demonic Embrace second, but I really like Riley's. I think the slow is so fun, you know? So it makes it so much easier
the
to
slow
play
is
through team fights.
fun.
It makes it so much easier to play through team fights. Because if everyone else is slow, I just go, you know, just zoom around.
I think you have options,
Okay.
but Rylai is not one of them. I'm sorry to say. Not here in my
Okay.
my coaching session. That much I can tell you.
Have you thought about the fact I have futures market, so I get it easier? Just putting that out there.
You just went in depth to get a Rylai. You
Where's
wasted
that?
another 50 gold on top of all the thousands you wasted already getting this item.
Look, man, I'm from the UK. The UK government loves to go into debt to do stupid things, so I'm just copying them, you know? Copying them.
I can see that. They would be very proud of you. Maybe you should be a politician over there. Anyways, we better not get into that. So, second item. I think Liandry is almost always the best first item on Lillia. Liandry is great. For boots, you have 3 options. Lucidity, if you think you're not gonna need any tankiness. Often, either mercs or plated steel caps are gonna be valuable. Then we get the second item. There's Demonic Embrace. There's Sonya. If they have a ton of AD damage, there's Frozen Heart. The entry Frozen Heart can be valuable. And if there's a case where we don't want more damage, but we want to survive against a team that has a lot of AP damage, which
Fun.
once in a while can be a sight in solo queue. Force of Nature could be an option too to get more tankiness. But what I'm gathering is that you like damage. I would have wanted.
I think later in this game I go Fawn Banshees, if I remember correctly. So I do get some magic resist, but we still lose.
Well, we did buy Rylai second, so we've made some mistakes. But imagine, like, next time we're in this case, if we're ever unsure, we just buy Demonic Embrace second, and then after Demonic Embrace we buy a Sonya's, because then we have a lot of damage, and after we flash into a fight, Q5 people, and do a 9-man sleep, include sleeping our teammates as well, of course. They're not going to react. I mean, solo queue. We press Sonya, and then we don't die. And then everything is great. Because then you have damage, you have your Sonya. Perfect. So...
Yep. I understand the logic, right? However, have you thought about...
No.
We're fast as fuck, boy. You know? Have you thought about us being faster than...
This is where the coach needs to step in and tell the client that this is the correct answer. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that I know better than you.
But you are saying.
But I'm right and you're wrong, and that's something we need to accept so we can move on with this class. Think of it like math. There's a right and a wrong.
Yeah.
Rylai second is wrong.
Okay. So chat, just a reminder, if I send him any more VODs, we don't send him the ones where I build Rylai second, okay? We can still build it, because he won't know. But we just don't send the VODs to fans.
Anyways, so for the build, we've talked about it, let's move on. So, there's a 5 bots, we know that there's a market Crocs. Ooh.
Look at how slow they are! Watch, look, do you see how slow they are? Sorry, no, I'm gonna stop.
Let's see from the start. Let's see if your Rylai did anything at all. But that's not the main point. We need to see how you play this fight. So I like what you did at first there. You used your spells and Crocs, so you get some movements. You actually... Where did your spells go?
So I swirl seer down the lane, because I'm looking to see if I can...
Okay.
And then I Q Croc. You only get 1 stack from
Okay.
Q.
I think that's fine. You could have considered Wing it as well, but I think just the Q is fine. And then we look for the fight. So let's see what we do. Keep eyes on the Bambi. So we Q Alistar. We walk back. We use E on Alistar.
Yeah, so I wasn't aiming for Alistar. I was aiming for Echo and Kindred, but I just misplaced it.
That's
because then I'd have a 3-man sleep, you know?
Exactly. That's the Lillia thought process right there. As long as we're trying to get sleeps on multiple people, I'm happy. Actually, we don't even have ult, so it doesn't even matter. Right. But it's still good to get the passive on more people. In this particular case, because we can damage them and slow them, because we have a Rylai. In other cases, because we have a demonic embrace and the burn damage will destroy all of them. So we have 1400 gold. Let's see what we decide to buy. What do we buy, Medic? We're thinking about it for a long time.
I'm probably going demonic. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's... I mean, we need to get demonic at some point. The only thing now is that because you went Rylai second, you're going to be very squishy for a long time. Also, you just pressed R on Alistar again while he has ult.
And he's dead. Yeah, okay.
Medic, there's a lot of things happening here, okay? There's a lot of things happening here. So...
I forgot I did this. I'll be honest. I meant to put it over the wall because I was like, I get behind Veigar, right? The tower dies to the charge, so I go round and I mean to put it over this wall so it hits the tower. I know Kindred is bot side. I don't expect Singe to, be defending the Razor Beaks.
But why do you have to be fancy? Like what? Why does it have to be placed from here?
Okay, but if I place it there,
this is not even a good herald. Because if you put it here, it's gonna be under the turret immediately when it spawns, meaning the turret is just gonna start hitting it and it dies earlier. So if you put it from like the side, or if you just put it in Veigar's face, this herald is gonna help clear the wave, and it's just gonna walk up and charge the turret and kill it. And then after you place it, then you can do Raptors if you want. You can do Red, you can do Crocs, you can take everything. But there's no need to be fancy. It was unlucky for you that Singed was here as well, because that makes it even more awkward. Yeah. Now, for unknown circumstances, we do not have our ultimate available. Singed decided to focus
yeah, he can't chase me because of the Rylai slow. That's
actually... No, he can't chase you because you mind controlled him by using Herald, so he started hitting it instead of going for you. But whichever way, we got the red buff. We get out before Kindred came. Good decision not to do Crocs, that would have been a bit greedy. So, we keep clearing.
Okay, so at points like this, can we just pause for a second? None of my camps are up. Well, my blue is coming up now, right? But like, there was 20 seconds there, nothing was up. And I'm like, well, what do I control at this point? I could go into the enemy jungle, but I don't have pressure bot lane. Got nothing mid lane, so if I push forward, I'm quite easily just ganked. I could look like I think here I'm just like, oh, blue buff's coming up. I'll control top side with Baron being up in a bit as well. But like, it feels very much like there's nothing to do on this map, especially without like strong gank setup because we don't have a great gank setup as a team, right?
I think it starts after you're done with walls. So if we look at the map state, Zed is top, center based, Siva is just farming here, and your Shen is dead. And as you're saying, there's nothing like in particular to play for. What we can do, if we're completely unsure, is to just base, spend our gold. Like an option here could be to move in river, place your pink ward here in the pixel bush, base, get a giant spell, get Amp Tome, then when you come back on the map, Senna and Shen are also going to be ready to pressure and you can actually do stuff together. If we don't decide to base, well then it's going to be a little bit awkward. We have a sweeper, so it would be nice to like sweep one side of the jungle. We go bot side, we see Alistar. We can't really walk in because yeah, we just don't have vision on anything and Senna isn't base, so I think the best decision in a case like this where you can't pressure anyways is just to base 2 and spend your gold. Because there's just nothing to do. Well, now our blue is coming up, so we can move towards that. Shen is back in the map. Our bot lane is fighting. Let's see. Yeah, things are getting a little bit random and out
Everyone
of control.
Just starts dying.
We are feds, and people keep dying around us. We're getting frustrated that they don't play around us. Been there, done that. There's a limit to what we can do about it. All we can do is like now in situations like this where we have no camps to just try to be where we think the fight plays out, and we can never really know for sure. In this case, it broke out mid and top like around similar time, so. And we were unlucky we didn't make it to any of them, but just to try to like cover people as much as possible.
That makes sense.
If we had base, we would have survived there. Just putting it out, but still.
No, it's true. It's true. Yeah. So
we are back up on the map. Our camps are coming up, but we forgot that the camps are coming up topside, so we may have walked to the wrong side of the map. And not only that, but I'm pretty sure we also didn't take the Hextech gates because we didn't realize that this is a Hextech
you know,
map.
Hextech, they're more a suggestion than an obligation, you know, Hextech gates. I'm kind of anti-technology in that sort of regard. I think Hex gates are... they're questionable morally, you know? Is Victor doing a good thing?
So, you are anti-technology? You love wasting your time. You love going in depth for no reason. Medic, I think we need a serious discussion that's outside just League of Legends soon if this continues. But let's just leave it at we like taking Hextech gates. They're very efficient. We love going to the side of our jungle where 2 camps are spawning and where there's a top crab. And we can, you know, get Baron control. We can move to mid after. We can move to top where our set is. And bot lane, the only reason I could ever see to go bot here is if you're like the greediest jungler of all time and you're just like, well, Shen is mid for no reason. Like it makes no sense for him to be here. Like I have no idea why he's here. His ult is up in 30. But you're like, well, this guy doesn't want to farm, so I'm just gonna go clear every single bot wave and then I'm gonna clear my jungle after. Yeah, but we didn't really do that either.
No, we just went back to the jungle.
Holy moly, things are getting crazy now. So, we clear our walls. And then...
I think I want the crab, you know?
But why do we want the crab?
Because crabs are delicious.
But Singed is missing, they have mid prio, they have bot prio.
True, but I'm
they
also
could have full vision in our jungle. You're 10 and 3, but... It's not like these opponents don't have any kills. Like, we're 22 minutes in the game. There's 47 kills in total, but 23 of them, unfortunately, are on the other team. And overall, your laners are not doing too hot. Like, sorry to say, but your Siva is 4k down. Mid lane is not doing too hot. Like, all of them are in a bad spot. Like, even top lane is down. So, just secure Grump. Because if you don't take Grump, they might come and take it for you. in just a moment if we end up in a fight. We do have a Shen ult now, but Veigar and Alistar could already be on the way here, meaning our bot lane is going to be really late. So we get singed, we sleep Kindred, we get another kill. Veigar based, Alistar didn't want to move, so that was nice, good for us, but it might as well have gone wrong. And then we hit the Baron.
Yeah, so I pinged that I didn't have smite, and they were all like, no, go Baron, go Baron. Like, they kept pinging it. I was like, well, it's better for me to be with my team and make a bad play together than let them make the bad play by themselves. I know it's an awful play.
I don't think we all want Baron medic.
I mean, sure, but like, I could just run away, I guess, and just leave them?
You drop a ping on the Baron, you're like, no guys, we don't do Baron, danger, danger. And you just space. You dip the Indus. Like, if these guys, look at them. Like, these guys are the Indus on your team. They're not doing too well. Your Sivir is getting absolutely demolished by an AD carry Veigar. This is not the player that we listen to. So, we don't worry. Like, this is just emotions talking. Like, these guys want to do something, so we're like, oh no, we have to do, you know, what they want. Otherwise, they're gonna die. Otherwise, they're gonna be tilted. No, we don't listen. We just back.
All the moves. Okay.
Because we know that set based, we know that we don't have smite. And for all we know, like, this Sivir might be tilted out of her mind, just trying to end the game as soon as possible, one way or another, because she's not fed. You're the protagonist, she's not. Maybe she hates you for it and just tries to ruin your game. So, we don't trust Sivir's calls, we trust our own. So anyways, we do it. We realize we cannot. We die.
Yep. And the game kind of snowballs from here.
Let's see. So, we made a mistake. And we give them Baron. But, we're still not that far down. Now we have to defend. Usually, like as a general rule when defending in League, as long as you're patient, as long as you just set up like defensive vision in your jungle, set up pings and look for opportunities, the opponents are going to make mistakes and you're going to be able to kill them. And when they get Baron, if you kill just one person, that's going to buy you so much time that they're barely going to get anything out of the Baron anyways. So here, taking fights around Drake can be fine, because in these situations the Baron buff doesn't give them that much. Taking a fight around Drake while our Sivir is mid and our set is getting solo killed is something that we have to be very mindful about, however. So I think here, there's just a lot of things going wrong, and we're like everyone's just overforcing and going crazy, and it's not like, it's not your fault that your team is you're playing this pretty well.
Look at the Rylai's slow, man! Look at the Rylai's! Look at how much work it's doing!
Imagine if you didn't buy Rylai's, you would have killed all of them and looked like a hero. Instead, you gave me a chance to flame you for having the wrong items. How unfortunate. But it was pretty well played, I gotta give you that. In a different world.
Someone in my chat said, imagine if you had Demonic Embrace. I had Demonic Embrace.
You do.
I have Demonic and Leandry's.
You are building Force of Nature now.
Yeah.
Which is great. But in a different world, you guys get aced 5 for 0'd and the game is over. When
100%, yeah.
You could just have chilled. Like, it's like the Baron call they just made. These guys are trolling. Like, what are they doing here? Ping them back. Make the right call. And if they don't listen, so be it. You full clear your jungle. You do whatever needs to be done, and you try to get strong enough to carry them. Now, again, you did end up being a superhero, but I think that was more luck rather than anything.
It was more
else.
luck than judgment, yeah.
So now we have a pretty good setup with Shen just splitting top. We just have to defend mid and bot. They are gonna have to send someone up there eventually, so now we actually get some tempo. You realize Singe is overextended, so you go and kill him. I think that is great, and now we actually have a chance to just get some control of the game. Now that we're gonna pick, because we're still behind, the main focus shouldn't be to like get something big. Like, just stabilizing the map is more than enough. And yeah, so far so good. We're catching up on gold.
Just slowly getting waves pushed out, looking for my jungle camps, etc.
Yeah, exactly. You already got to clear your jungle. Kindred has been pretty nice. She hasn't really been stealing them that much.
And then we look for
Your
this.
top laner, yeah, your top laner gets caught. You're looking to help him. Again, nice. I mean, the Kindred, oh, not the Kindred, the Lillia mechanics are pretty good. It's
just run
mostly,
around. That's kind of what Lillia did. Like, just right click somewhere, press Q, right click somewhere else, press Q.
Also, we've been memeing on the Rylai a lot. I do want to say that, like, if you bought Rylai as your 4th or 5th item, it would be different. But like 2nd or 3rd, I don't really approve. 4th or 5th, you could get away with. Like, I would never do it personally, but you could like argue for it. So, Baron is spawning. Oh, it's all gonna be about Baron, denying soul from them because they already have 3 drakes. You find Kindred, you delete her. Kill some people bot. Soul lanes are being pushed in. See now, what is happening on the map is a little bit unfortunate. I think after you kill these people bot, I want to see you just spam picking Baron more than you ever have in your life. Because this is going to be the best chance you're ever going to get to get Baron. Like, you could even have spam pinged Baron after you killed Kindred. Like, even now. But your set is, like, fighting and you want to help him, so that's fine. But now, you have to get Baron. It just has to die. But instead, this is what the opponents want. Like, we're just chasing them around, trying to kill them, and they actually get random picks, and now all of a sudden, 2 people are dead because we didn't take Baron when we could have, and now they're supposed to get Baron all of a sudden. Unfortunately, they also didn't want it, and their Singed also got caught. We died to his poison. It's a bit unfortunate.
I walked back into it. I noticed afterwards.
In terms of itemization, I don't think we should go Banshee here, because you already have Force of Nature, but you have 0 armor, and they have a lot of burst damage. So I think you are gonna need a Sonya at some point in this game.
Yeah, I think Zonya's would have been smart.
Like almost always, almost no matter what game, Sonya is so good on Lillia, because you can just flash in, QR, Sonya, and then, you know, by the time you come out of Sonya, like, they're all sleeping, and, you know, a Sonya alone can win an entire fight. Like, that's part of why, like, if we watch LPL, like, they buy Sonya stopwatch, like, all the time, because they're fighting a lot, and in fights, this stopwatch is just OP, and it's so nice on Lillia, so easy to buy. So yeah, again, there's not too much macro, there's nothing too rare for solo queue, there's just a ton of random mindless fighting.
Fights.
We didn't get the greatest ult off, but it was also a bit tricky because we don't have flash. Luckily at this point our ult is only on a 62-second cooldown. And now we lost our bot inhib. We do have really good wave clear with Sivir. Unfortunately, you got caught. You ended up chasing. Could have done your walls and your Grom. And now we're playing from behind again, but all we have to do is stabilize. It's pretty easy for us to control bot wave because Shen can just walk bot and you know, clear the wave while he's ult. Everyone else has to try to defend Baron, because now having an inhib down, if they get Baron, it's probably going to be a lost game, realistically. So we just have to avoid dying, have to try to defend Baron, and at one point they're going to make mistakes like they're doing now, and then we have a chance of getting Baron ourselves. But yeah, I think for the past like 5-10 minutes, if not even more than that, there's like no macro at all. Everyone's just fighting, and that's not
run at everyone.
That's not any different in challenger games. It's the same. People, when they play solo queue, they just turn their brains off and they just go completely crazy mode and just fight. And
that's the rest of the game as well, right? Like, we just
yeah, probably that's just what we're gonna see here. And it's like, we can be part of that to a certain extent. Like, we have to a little bit, because we have to take part in fights, counter gank, help our teammates. Some of these fights can get us fed too, but we just have to be mindful about taking fights that we think are actually good and not getting baited into the bad ones, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because in this game, like, you're the most fed person in this entire game alongside Vega, but because the game is so crazy and because we're just following what all these guys are doing, you don't have any control at all. Like, you're playing the game on their terms instead of, you know, getting them to play around you.
Yeah. It's about like how I get them to do what I want them to do at times as well. Why I'm top lane here, I don't really know. But
Well, you want to push it out so that lane is empty with Baron, but obviously now they're already on the turret, so you have to be mid. But I mean, you can never fully get them to do what you want them to do and get them to play around you, right? But I haven't really noticed you pinging that much, like pinging what you want to do either. So if you like ping out like when Herald is spawning, or ping out when Drake is spawning, or ping them back when they're trying to do something, just give them an indicator of what you want to do and what you're playing for. That gives them some direction in the game that will increase the chances of listening to you. Like, the way I look at it is that if no one makes a call, it's just gonna be crazy. But if you've made your call clear and they don't listen, then at least you've tried and it's not your fault.
yeah, sure.
But yeah, this is pretty intense. But again, it's just like mindless fighting, and
Yeah, we defend, but we lose the game in the end.
yeah. But it's just gonna be a little bit random from here on out. It comes down to like just outplaying the team fights. So I don't think it's as relevant. It's more game specific. So yeah, I think that's mostly it. Do you have like any final questions or comments for this game?
Is dip the inters and just power farm. That's all I'm gonna do. Just never play with my team. They're idiots. I'm a genius. And then farm. I think that's the strat, right? Take the market.
You're putting it a little bit bluntly. I think this is a trap a lot of people fall into in solo queue as well. Maybe I should be careful with how I word it, because a lot of players in solo queue have very big egos, which is partly because of that mindset, right? Like, everyone else are noobs, I'm a god. I think you always have to be a little bit selfish, but obviously have to find a good balance. And I think I think the biggest takeaway for me in this game is just that you actually trust your own instincts and make your own calls. Because this entire game, you were just being impacted by the random plays your teammates were going for. Like, you didn't really make any calls yourself. It just all kind of happened, and a lot of it was you following them. But if you make it clear what you want to do, which doesn't have to be by typing at all, you can just ping like on my way, or ping assist, or danger ping when they do something, then that alone will have a big impact.